Y'all ain't gonna believe this. I just sat here and recorded damn near, well, not a whole video, but about 10 minutes of a video and didn't realize that I wasn't even recording. Anyway, um, I had a couple of people roll up on me after the last video. If you go back, you'll see that I was not in the Philippines. I was in a motel. I am in an undisclosed location. It's top secret, so I will tell you guys more about it later, at a later time. It'll probably be at least a couple months before I even disclose. So anyway, I have something very specific I'm doing right now. Um, so Pierre, I'm sorry, but I got one more video I got to record before I get to your question. Okay, so those of you who don't know, I had 3 questions. I promised those brothers um, uh, an answer, and I was going to do it by video because my answer was really too much for typing, and I think it's something that some of my viewers might be able to use. So anyway, I realized that my other series on manhood, if you go back and see, I'm talking about black manhood. That plus this series on dating, they're gonna overlap. You know what I'm saying? And you're really gonna need all of it. I thought I could just wrap it all up in this series right here, but I really can't. So anyway, the topic of this video is going to be what women want, and and I I need to apologize in advance because I've previously said that I don't like when when brothers make videos about what women want or saying anything about women, and then men. That's why my videos don't talk about women. I might talk about I talk about women from a male perspective. You know what I'm saying? But uh, I can't ignore the fact that I have learned some things about women, and so I need to transmit that information to my brothers. You know what I'm saying? And ladies, please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just my view, my experience. So anyway, um, when it comes to the SMV, the singles market value, women value certain characteristics of men, but not all women value all characteristics. So some, matter of fact, I should probably talk about the personality types. Let's do that. I'm not going to go into detail right now, but basically, there are personality types of males and well, males and females. But I'm just going to talk about the brothers now. There are personality types. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys have at least heard of the alpha male and the beta male, right? Alpha male, and a matter of fact, a lot of people get it wrong. The alpha male is when you talk about a lion, he is the alpha lion. He is the preferred mate of the females, excuse me, to reproduce with. He is a leader of the pack. You can do the same thing really in the animal kingdom with anything, with chimpanzees, with gorillas, with wolves, pack of dogs, whatever. Even, well, you really can't do that with ants because ants and bees have a queen, and the queen is the boss. So, but the difference is the queen in the insect kingdom is served, and the king in the animal kingdom leads. There's a little bit of a difference, um, and I'll break that down another time. I'm going to stick to this dating subject. So anyway, oh, by the way, y'all, I have lost weight, even more weight. So if you go back in my videos, you'll see last year I was like 265, and then when I left Angeles to go back home, I was um, I was 180, and no, I was 190 then, and and then I've had like to buy whole new fucking wardrobe, man. So anyway, that's good news. So anyway, let me continue. Sorry, I digress. Um, so the personality types, the basic type is the alpha male, which all men want to fancy themselves alpha males, but very few men really are alpha males. Alpha male being the leader, alpha male being the male with the traits that the women want, or they're more attracted to, that they want to reproduce with, that they want to be with, because it raises their standing among women, right? And that's very oversimplistic. There are other categories, and matter of fact, I might as well talk about them. Okay, so the beta male would be the masses of the males, and that is a very oversimplified way of looking at men. And so a lot of guys who don't understand the personality types, you're either an alpha or you're a beta, and every man considers himself an alpha. Very few really are. And it is true that majority of men are betas, but there are other categories, and you'll find it. So let me explain some of them. The alpha male is the leader. He is the biggest, strongest, or the most assertive, the most aggressive in a group. And it's not just in dating or the singles market, right? So you have an alpha male on the job. There's one guy who is like the alpha male on the job would be the really ambitious guy who goes into management, becomes a CEO or the director of operations or some high position, right? That is a real alpha. And he may not, of course, they don't start in that high position. He could be working in the mailroom or working on the floor somewhere or out in the field. But when you meet this guy, you can tell he's got competence, he's got confidence, he's ambitious. He also encourages other men or other workers. I mean, an alpha could be a female, by the way. He encourages the other troops to success. You know what I mean? He mentors, he gives advice. Sometimes he criticizes, things like that. He is often the guy that you guys, that the betas, the other men will resent. Oh, that motherfucker think he better than us and stuff like that. What he's sucking up to the boss and stuff. And there is a personality type that does that, but not the alpha. But what happens is a lot of guys resent the success of the alpha, and then they make up words like brown nose or ass kissers, stuff like that for the guy. Now there are brown noses and ass kissers, but I can tell you from being in the military and working in the post office and working in the sales field, management field for years, most of the people who are called brown noses and ass kissers are not. They understand seduction and power play. And the guys who don't, who have basically accepted their second class status on the job, just resent that brother. So now they make up terms to try and detract from his progress that he's making. You know what I mean? And when I was in school, I remember I had a professor. His name was Wang, and of course, we used to make fun of him. But I was in the management program for 3 years before I changed my major, and there were guys in our class. Matter of fact, it was a statistics class, and there were guys in our class that were kind of nerdy. And after class, we'd all be talking and stuff like that. And we were talking about women, and one of the guys was joking about two other guys, and one was Asian and one was Indian. And it was like, yeah, you know what? He had to make a decision between two women. He was like, yeah, I had two girls I'm gonna see. I don't know which one I'm gonna see. Blah blah blah. But you guys, you losers wouldn't understand that. And Wang stepped in. I thought that was really cool because I kind of wanted to check him on that, but I didn't. I was minding my business, but I could hear the conversation. And Wang told him, he said, my experience in this country tells me that the guys, the nerds, who are who are the smart guys, the ones making the good grades and stuff like that, the ones who ain't getting pussy right now, in 10 years, the quality of pussy they get, you could never dream of. 9 times out of 10, if you both end up working in the same place, you're going to be interviewing with these guys to get promoted. And I was like, damn, that was some That's haq, brother. So, okay, haq is a Arabic term for knowledge. That's wisdom. And that was some heavy shit you just told him. And then, matter of fact, my cousin, who's probably gonna be watching this video, was a nerd in college as well. And he was a math major. And I was like, the fuck is a math major? Like, what are you gonna do with this? But he today is, I don't know exactly what he does. He works for the federal government. But like when we were in our 20s, you know, uh, 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 fighting in the corporate world, and well, me in business, had a karate school, but guys were scraping and clawing and fighting for $50,000 jobs. My cousin was already in the hundreds. Y'all understand? And that was fucking 25 years ago. And Mr. Wang is right, because the quality of women he fucks with is like, y'all niggas can, that's like celebrity type shit. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, my point was, what was my point? Personality types. So the beta males are yes, they are the followers. Yes, they are part of the herd. They are not leaders in any way. And they're categorized as the nice guys. The alpha males, and these are for people who don't understand the personality types. The alpha males are seen as the assholes, but the girls like them. The big guys, the strong guys, the aggressive ones. They often are mislabeled as a misogynist, and they're not. That matter of fact, that is not an alpha male at all. But to a feminist, that might be, because a feminist quite often wants to be in the position that males are in until it's time to really do male shit. And this is going to be a little off subject, but, we're equal, we're the same. Everything you do, I can do, until a motherfucker punch her in the mouth. And then all of a sudden you hit a woman, right? When shit breaks out, how come the men aren't out there handling business? No, remember, you a feminist. You just like us. Go out there and you do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I know I'm going to piss off some of my friends with that one. But there is a clear distinction between men and women. There's very, very, very different things between us, and we are not equal. It doesn't mean that one of us is subordinate to the other, or one of us is better than another, but we are not equal, and we're not the same. And when you try to instill a system where men are not men and women are not women, and men try to do what women do and women try to do what men do, everything is out of balance. And wrong series. It's supposed to be talking about the manhood series. I mean, dating. We will continue that conversation on the manhood series, okay? So anyway, the personality types could be on the job. They could be among men. So within a group of men, within a community of men, you will have an alpha, you'll have a beta, basically, right? One will be the leader, the other one will be the follower. One will be the bully, the other be the bullied, stuff like that. And which is, again, oversimplifying. But this is how most people view the personality types. But then there's also the sigma male. And the sigma male is very competent, very confident. He is just as strong as the alpha. He has leadership skills. He has leadership qualities. But he is not interested in the competition for dominance, right? And so among males, you have this idea of dominance. And some men don't want dominance, and they don't mind being dominated, even though they fancy themselves being autonomous and not being dominated. They are being dominated. Okay, so matter of fact, let me talk about this real quick. There's something called the red pill philosophy, particularly with men and male-female dynamics. And then there's MGTOW, which is men going their own way, MGTOW. And I think those two communities have really totally misunderstood the whole alpha male, beta male. And some of these guys are very intelligent and very intelligent and very, well read, educated, but they still don't get it. So let me explain some of the other personality types. Okay, so the sigma male is one who has the qualities to be a leader, to dominate other men, but he's not interested in doing that because he's focused on himself. That is what they call a delta. A sigma male. The delta male is the guy that MGTOWs are guys who are there. They usually it came from maybe pain or heartbreak, and they swear off women. Women ain't shit. They're only good for pussy and things like that. And they call themselves alpha because in their mind, I was a nice guy and it bit me in the ass, so I'm going to be an asshole now. Because and honestly, there are a lot of women who like shitty men. There's a lot of them, and even some of you who claim you like good men, if you look at your history, because regardless of what comes out your mouth, we have to look at the actions. Look at the last 10 years, the men you've dealt with, and were they nice guys? No, they were not. 9 times out of 10, if you had a nice guy, you thought he was a bitch, you thought he was a pussy, and you brushed him off and you ended up with assholes. Because here's the thing, women who like nice guys, who end up with nice guys, are still fucking married. They don't break up with them. Women who like nice guys, who end up with assholes, break up with them and they continue looking for nice guys. Many women like aggressive males because they don't understand manhood, just like many men don't understand manhood. And so if you have a man who doesn't understand manhood, he acts out his manhood in ways that a boy thinks of a man. When you're say a 13-year-old boy and you think of manhood, what do you think of? Pussy, right? Guys who don't have fathers, and I have a term I use, over-mothered, under-fathered. The mother loves him, and she'll either try to dominate her son to try to toughen him up because she herself has a corrupted idea of what manhood is, or she's resentful to the son because of her situation, so she takes her anger out on the son, or she pours all her affection on her son, which actually makes him weak, right? It's like this. If you have a baby in the Philippines, women carry babies, but at a certain age they set those babies down. Show me a woman who carries a baby all the time, and I'll show you a child who ends up a year and a half just learning how to walk. When you carry a child too much, if you nurture him too much, just like that bird that stays in the nest too long, he never learns to fly. A baby who's carried all the time never learns to walk. A boy who's loved on, and protected and sheltered, never learns to deal with the adversities of life. A teenager or a young man who's allowed to stay home too long, who's given everything instead of made to go out and work and earn it, never learns how to be a man. That's over-mothered. Under-fathered, a boy who does not have enough interaction with manly men. And there's a difference between interaction with men and interaction with manly men. Many women introduce their boyfriends to their sons, hoping that the boyfriends can turn the sons into men. And these boyfriends are not manly men. And so the boys learn from the boyfriends. I have a couple of friends who dated men who didn't work, dated men who didn't take care of their children, dated men who didn't have enough discipline and ethical foundation strong enough to be faithful to her. Yet she still pushed this nigga off on her kid to teach my son how to be a man. So what ends up happening is this grown man with a boy-like idea of what manhood is teaching that bullshit to her son. And the son grows up to become just like the men that she used to date, right? Or the boy does not have a man. So I got a friend right now who told me, well, I don't allow men to meet my son. And I'm like, how's your boy? 16. And he's never met any men? No. And she has one brother who lives out of town, and he sees this guy once in a while. How much interaction is he having with men? Oh, plenty. Really? Like who? Then she had to think. No, baby, you're lying. Your son is not. And what happens is, I already know what's coming in 4 or 5 years. Either an over-sexualized male who thinks this is the path to manhood, and a very narcissistic, pretty boy who thinks this is the path to. I don't know how she's interacting with her son just based off that conversation, but these are directions that they go in, or lazy male, or future thug, or whatever. Because when a boy does not have men, manly men, to learn from and teaching him the code that men live by, serving as an example to what to be like, what to emulate, also toughening him up in many ways, not just physically toughening him up, but mentally, psychologically, emotionally toughening him up. He will grow up either to be just like his mother, just like a woman, or he will grow up listening to other boys who don't have fathers on the playground, at the basketball court, on the internet now, at school. And those boys teach each other what manhood is. And sometimes one boy, being the alpha, who does learn something, who may have learned good things, will pass that on to the kids. But 9 times out of 10, it's not good things. So what he's telling the other boys is, man, what do you mean you ain't fucked yet? You never stuck your finger in no pussy before? Excuse my language, y'all, if you're new to my channel. But this is how boys talk. Man, they're making fun of you because you're a virgin, right? To them, this is being a man. Edifying drug dealers in the neighborhood like we did. That's what we did in my neighborhood. All of us wanted to be drug dealers. When guys came around, because when crack kind of came out, they used us to sell it. These guys didn't have crack in their pockets. We did. We had it in our book bags. You know what I'm saying? We learned to admire drug dealers from other boys. There wasn't nobody teaching us that shit. And the girls, some of y'all my age, you remember the 80s, the girls learned to admire drug dealers through other girls, right? Other fatherless girls. So I know I'm all over the place today. God, I gotta make a script. So anyway, that being said, so a lot of these MGTOW guys, see, I'm coming back. A lot of these MGTOW guys have a skewed idea of the male-female relationship dynamics. And they think, I'm a nice guy, I got fucked over by this woman, or I got my heart broke by this woman. Usually women who break up with nice guys end up with alpha males, or what they think are alpha males. End up with assholes. Many women do like being mistreated. They say they don't, but you meet men who will mistreat you, and you just hope he's not like others. You want that tough guy. You want that thug. You want that that outsider. Well, in the old days, it was like the James Dean type cat, right? You want the rebel, but you're hoping he treats you like a nice guy will treat you. When women cheat on a guy, and matter of fact, these MGTOW guys seem to think that all women are cheaters, but and I'll explain something about that in another video. When women cheat on a guy, they usually cheat on a guy with a man who's better looking, but often has lower level characteristics than the guy. often they don't cheat on good guys with, I'm sorry, they usually cheat on good guys with shitty men. They don't cheat on shitty men with good guys. Nice guys really do come in last. And so what happens is when a guy sees that, or like I said, he gets his heart broken, and he just imagines that his woman is with a higher male, better looking, taller, nicer body, better job than me. Excuse me. That results in an anger, and that anger manifests itself through the delta male. He's a guy who is resentful, who is angry, and he kind of checks out of um, the whole dating world, and he approaches women as just sex. And and what happens with those guys? Remember we were talking about SMVs. Those guys will usually go for low SMV women, right? The women with the low self-esteem and stuff like that, um, in order to act out his aggression. Okay, so at the same time, we have like you have the gamma male. The gamma male would be um, the guy who doesn't engage in power dynamics at all. Um, he may, well, he's usually found in a social circle of men, but he is the guy who goes out for adventure, right? This is your hunter, your fishermen, the guys who like to go traveling. They go out and pack, they party and things like that, but nobody in the group necessarily is trying to be the leader. Now, in any circle of men, any group of men, you're always going to have one that's more dominant than the others, but that's not their mission. They're not competing with each other for dominance. He's just looking to have fun, right? He's just looking for entertainment. So that is your gamma male. And then your zeta male, matter of fact, zetas and sigmas are kind of related. The zeta male is also very competent, very intelligent, hardworking, things like that. But he does not engage in social dynamics. He's not interested. He ain't got no time for that shit. And he also checks out of the dating world, which is kind of where I find myself often. So several times in my life, I have been celibate. Matter of fact, zeta males are characterized by celibacy, right? And not that like I don't like women or anything like that. It's just that I don't have time. I don't have time to deal with that. And so that's kind of what happened. Matter of fact, zeta males often become sigma males. So when they check back into the dating world, they're coming in with higher SMV. And so, matter of fact, I'm kind of touching on the video of the first brother that I want to talk about. When a guy, I have a good friend of mine he's in the film industry, and he was your typical frat boy, you know what I mean? Getting drunk all the time, sleeping with 2-3 women per weekend, having a good time, things like that. And then he met Spike Lee in New York, and Spike Lee had a conversation with him, and he came back like Neo after he took the red pill, and he was like, "Dude, we got to change this program." And I was in the middle of my party thing, but me, I had my business. I was already making money. My boy stopped drinking. He stopped getting high. During those last 2 years, never got into a fight. Like we used to fight in the club or fight in the parking lot and stuff like that. And even if it was a fight he wasn't involved with, he would jump in it. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't do none of that. He rarely came out for drinks at all. And he changed his major to film. He was originally, I think, he minored in theater, or maybe he just took theater classes, but he was in a business program. And he came back and jumped in film school at Howard University, and finished. And next thing you know, he became a writer on 227. I think that was a show, 227, and a couple of sitcoms, and then he was directing or producing music videos and so now he's like, you know, he's not necessarily big, but he's bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing really well. But for that short time, he was even celibate. I mean, this dude was just isolated all the time, focused on. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like we've studied together, right? Because I had my in my apartment, I had it set up like a little library. You know, anybody's ever been in my house know I keep books and I have desks. I like to read and stuff like that. So even though I was a party animal, I still organized these little study sessions at my house. And he didn't even come to that. I mean, when he did come, you know, he did his homework, whatever. But the way he was completely living a monastic lifestyle. And I do know with Karma, um, there was a chick that he liked who was just going ape shit because he wasn't chasing her no more. so, um, uh, so, but she did. I mean, she was like trying to get at him, and he just wasn't having it. And then he moved out to L.A. and he was doing his thing. But, that's the first time I observed, which is something else I'm going to talk about in these upcoming videos, is how being aloof to women can actually attract them. When you chase them too much, it can turn them off. But that's another subject. Okay, so anyway, now they say that women want the alphas, which is not always true. Many women do want alphas. Women tend to want a man on a higher vibration level than themselves, right? Smart women. Many women don't. Some women, especially dominant women, we talk about the feminine, you know, I talk about feminists a lot. I'm making jokes, but actually roll with a lot of things that they say. Many feminists, your more fierce feminists who are coming from a point of anger, still like dick. If they're not gay, they like dick. Who do they fuck with? They're not going to fuck with the alpha. They're not going to fuck with the sigma. They don't want a man who is equally intellectual and aggressive as them. They usually go for the betas. And I know from experience, from what I've seen, the more fierce anti-male, they don't call themselves anti-male, but they're really coming from a point of anger. Those women want the nice guys, the guys who will submit to their philosophy and listen to their arguments and things like that. So anyway, I did a lot of talking and didn't really get to a point. There's going to be a part 2 to this video, all right? Give me a few minutes to think of it, and I'll come back.